Yeah, so basically, I've always been an entrepreneur and really into technology. So I first started off at like age 15 for my first business. It was like Amazon Associates program and a search engine all at once for like MFC programming, which like for the really geeky people out there, it's like this Microsoft framework that came out. But that's basically how I got my start. I used to get like a check from Amazon every quarter. It was kind of cool. And that's basically when the bug hit me, the whole entrepreneurial thing. And my dad was an entrepreneur also, so that's when I started going into the family business around like age 16 or so. We did telecom, prepaid calling cards, and wholesale traffic, and I did the network for all of that. So that's how I got into tech. And then I did my first startup in college with a couple of my fraternity brothers. We took over a room in our fraternity house. Clearly, there wasn't much going on, so we did a startup. And we ended up selling that to a company called Plaxo out in Silicon Valley right as we were graduating college. So I sold the company, worked at Plaxo for a little while, and then I worked at a hedge fund. And then last year, basically, I quit my finance job and decided to go back to doing my own thing. And I've been experimenting. I experimented with a bunch of different stuff in 2010 and 2011. I'm working on my main startup, which is called Tout. And that's basically an email client for entrepreneurs, biz dev people, marketing, PR, anyone that tends to send the same emails over and over can use Tout to send emails faster. Basically, in all the jobs that I've had in all the companies that I've started, there was one common thread that I found, and that was I was trying to promote something to as many people as possible. So whether it was influencers, bloggers, potential customers, existing customers to find out what they were thinking, I was sending a ton of email. And every single time, it was kind of the same email over and over with certain tidbits that were different to personalize it. And it was a real pain because I would find the older email and then I would copy it into the new email and then I would tweak it and then I would hit send. And then I didn't, I had to do the whole mental workflow of tracking like, did they respond? Did they view it? Did they click on it? Did it work? I'm spending all this time writing these emails. So that's basically when it hit me that there has to be a better way. And that's why I created Tout. So Tout lets you do all of those things. It first lets you create email templates for your most commonly sent emails. And once you create those templates, as you meet people or as you find influencers, you can just send it off in like 3 clicks. I can even actually send it off from my iPhone by sending a simple text message to Tout. So I can send a text message saying send and the name of the template and your email as like right as I meet you. And by the time you go home, there's already a personalized, fully fleshed out email with a PDF attachment already in your inbox about your product or your company or whatever it is that you're trying to tout. Entrepreneurs, biz dev people, sales, and marketers, they all send the same emails and they spend hours doing this. But once they send it, there's no real good way to measure whether those emails were successful or whether they worked out. So with Tout, what we do is we help you track if the person viewed an email and we help you track if they clicked on the little link on your email. And we show this to you for every email you send out through the day. We have a little outbox view where it shows you all the emails you've sent and it shows you a little overview of where each of them are in that process. And we also help you track if the email was successful. So if they respond back and you make the sale or you get featured in the blog, that's a success. So you can mark that email as successful. And then what happens is over time, we start to aggregate all those statistics into the templates that you were using. So you can start to see which template actually works better. And that's where it gets really interesting because not only do you get to see right away if your individual emails are working, you can try like 2 different hooks for your product using 2 different templates. And you use the first one 20 times, the second one 20 times, and you track the success. And you get to see over time, which problem actually like resonates better with the people you're reaching out to. So it gives you a tremendous amount of insight that you can get from the emails you're sending. Not only do you get to send it faster, it's all automatic. So there's like no reason not to get that insight, not to do it through Tout. I use it for quite a few different things. the first thing I use it for is as soon as I go to a lot of networking events, I'm trying to meet with a lot of marketers and PR people just to get the word out. And whenever I meet them, and I tell them what I do, and they tell me what they do, and they're like, "Oh, that's really cool. I'm really interested." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I take out my iPhone and I do like, "Just give me your email," and I show them the product right there. So I type in their email, I send a little thing, and I'm like, "Well, by the time you go home, you'll have an overview of the product and you can sign up with the link." And they're like, "Wow, I need that for my product." So that's like the first way I use it. It's what I use tout to tout. It's kind of, but that's what I do. And the other thing I use it for is we're huge believers in customer development. So every single person that signs up for Tout, whether it's the free plan or the paid plan, I always follow up with them using Tout. So I have a little template that says, "Hey, I see that you signed up for Tout. I'm really interested in understanding like how you're using it, how we can make it better. Can we talk for like 15 minutes on the phone?" And I use that to send out to every new customer or almost every new customer that comes through, just so I can like get in touch with them. And then there are more, detailed stuff. Like if they look at one of our paid plans, but they don't upgrade, then I send them an email also saying, "Hey, were you looking for something that you didn't have?" So, those are some of the cases I use it for. Tout started, I was working on a different idea. So, like I said, in 2010, I quit my job and I was trying different ideas just to see where things would go. And Tout was something I built just for solving my own problem because I was trying to spread the idea about a different product that I was working on. And I was doing the same email over and over. So I just created Tout over a weekend. So over the course of a weekend, I just created it and I put it out there. And then it was basically like, well, I bet there are other people that need it. So I just like did a little bit of marketing and I put a price tag on it for a premium version, just to see what would happen. And sure enough, like within the first 30 days, we had like over 300 users, over 10 paying customers just from this thing I built over a weekend. And that's when it was kind of like, oh, there's something here. And I kind of let it sit for a few months. I watched it. I saw what would happen just from the work I did over the course of the weekend. I did some little tweaks here and there based on like what people were asking for, but it was very limited on my time. And then basically at the end of last year, I took a step back and I looked at like, well, I tried a bunch of different things, and I saw that Tout was by far the one that was most popular, getting the most users. There was a lot more there. I mean, the idea of templated emails is very simple, but there's just so much reach. Like people are using it for applying for jobs right now. People are using it to invoice people like for their consulting practices. So there's so much there. And so basically that's when I kind of decided, well, it's a simple idea, but it has a wide reach. It has a wide audience and people love it right now. So why not make it better? And so I started talking to customers even more, figured out what was wrong with the current product, and then did Tout 2.0 towards the end of 2010. And basically for the last 3 months, all of my time has been dedicated onto Tout and growing Tout and making Tout better. I think one of the biggest ways that has been effective for me is just blogging about it. I have a blog myself about entrepreneurship. So just by blogging about my journey about being an entrepreneur and how I created Tout and how I'm using Tout to spread the word, that kind of stuff brought in the most traffic if you look at the last year, basically, for Tout. So basically, blogging really pays. You're writing about stuff that Tout's target audience cares about. And so they come to the blog, they read about it, and they say, "Oh, I can use this," and then they sign up. So that worked really well. The other thing we did is Tout actually integrates with a lot of the CRMs in the market. So if you use Highrise, Capsule CRM, Batchbook, any one of those CRMs where you really care about your relationships and your contacts and how you're running your business with your customers, we integrated with those people because we knew that anyone that really cares about sending emails and a lot of emails and cares about staying in touch would be using a CRM. So we figured that if we integrate with CRMs, we can target that audience and attract that audience. And that's basically what was like the second biggest driver for Tout. And slowly is taking over as the first biggest driver for Tout for the past 2 months or so. So I think the biggest thing has been time. I would say, and I know that everyone says time, but it's even more important when you are a single founder, which is less common in the tech space right now. Usually there's co-founders or like a couple of people working on it. For me, I think it was the biggest thing was around, well, it's just me, so I had to split up my time between doing product development, doing marketing, doing business development, and then now there's fundraising also. So making sure that I don't spend too much time on one thing and let the other thing fall away, like that kind of thing. Just making sure that all the different things that need to happen for your business actually it gets done, and you don't spend too much time on one and not enough time on the other. That's been like the biggest challenge.